Hi, for today's video we have an interview with KAIST International Student who is from Philippines and her name is Jamie. She is a fourth year student. Actually, she's going to graduate this February, so let's say that she's a graduate of KAIST. Also, she is a KSA graduate. If you don't know what is KSA of KAIST is basically KAIST High School. And if you want to know more about this school, you can check it out right here. There are lots of videos about KSA. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you didn't do it yet. Turn on your bell notification so you won't miss my new videos and new interviews every single week. Let's start this video.
My name is Jamie. I'm from the Philippines and I'm in my fourth year, and it's my last semester actually. And I'm majoring in chemistry and minoring in chemical and biomolecular engineering.
Ooh, wow.
I think it's pretty chill for me in terms of academics because I'm pretty much done with all my courses. I have like 12 credits right now, and it's going pretty good. But it's kind of like also scary because I'm graduating and like where am I gonna be after like 6 months? I don't know yet. So I think my KAIST life has been challenging and frustrating a lot of times. But it's also been very interesting. Do you want me to explain why, or like?
Yeah, you can explain. Your choice.
Yeah, so it's been like really challenging maintaining a balance between like studying, academics, and like self-care and mental health. So that's been a bit of a challenge, and it's been really like frustrating sometimes because like, you know, life in Korea, studying in Korea.
I know.
Yeah, but still it's like it's been interesting because like I've met a lot of people like from all over the world, and I've actually had some like pretty nice professors as well, so hasn't been too bad. Yeah. Do you mean like this semester or like just general?
Any semester in general, yeah.
Well, I guess the most challenging thing is like I guess balancing everything. So I guess like guidance on like how to balance academics, as I said, academics and like yourself, and also like I don't know, there's a lot of pressure like in KAIST specifically. So I guess that kind of like coaching or guidance would be nice, which I actually experienced before when I was a freshman. And yeah, I guess specifically for fourth year semesters, it's like guidance on career, choosing a career, and like applying to graduate school if that's your path. That's like the thing that I really wanted most help on this year. I would say it's like an 8. I don't want to say 10 because like might scare people, but I guess I can't recall like a specific moment, but I guess generally for college life, the expectation was like it's gonna be fun, and it's gonna be like it's gonna help you realize yourself and what you want, because that's what you hear, right? Like college is like the best years of your life, and it's like it's gonna be great, but like the reality, I don't know if it's just KAIST or if it's everywhere, but the reality for me in KAIST was it wasn't as lively as I expected. I like there wasn't much how do I say? There wasn't much self development unless you seek it out yourself. Yeah, because it's usually like studying a lot of the time. It's like 80% studying. So like it was up to me to like find these experiences to help myself. So it wasn't just there. It's like not as you see like in movies or in TV. College is fun.
I think America could do it better.
Yeah.
In terms of fun time.
That's like a hard question, and like
Well,
I was thinking about it, and I was like, huh. I guess one thing I would change is like personally like making myself less busy, because all the semesters I've been telling myself, oh, I'm gonna be really busy this semester, so next semester I'll be free, but I just get busier and busier somehow. Like I take on more and more, So I feel like there are some moments when I could have rested or like gone with friends or like hung out with people, and those moments that I missed because of how busy I made myself. The worst moment I can clearly remember. The worst was my second year. Oh no, it was my first year, second semester. And like, I think for me, my first year was the hardest because it was a lot of basic required courses. So that semester I was taking general physics, calculus, computer science, like all in the same semester. And, you know, like each of them have very heavy like homeworks and quizzes and exams. So those were the times when I would like stay in the library. We have like one library that's open 24 hours. So after class, I would just go there and stay with my friends until maybe 4 a.m. normally. And then the worst was midterm period when I stayed there overnight. So there's like a place with beanbags. So I slept there. And when I woke up, I would study again. And then, yeah, there was one day when I slept and I was like, well, I was studying. So I slept at like 2 and I slept for 2 hours and I was studying and I was like, okay, I'll go back now. And then it was raining outside and I didn't have an umbrella. So I was like, okay, I'll keep studying.
Damn. That's so bad though. I feel it.
that was pretty common before COVID. Because the library is not open 24 hours anymore.
Is it like
COVID.
that huge one in front of pond?
Yeah. I think for my university, especially for international students, it's been pretty good because we're still online these days. Like I know a lot of universities have gone offline after midterms, but we're still online until the end of the semester. And I heard like in the winter and the spring semester next year they're gonna go offline. Yeah, it's been pretty good because our learning system is online and like there hasn't been much problems for international students these days. I guess one thing they could have done better is like at the start in like spring 2020 things were really bad. Like the learning system was crashing and then like international students who were in their home countries were having to take classes at weird hours because there were live classes and then the professors wouldn't record. So
I see.
that was the worst period. And I guess I hope that period doesn't happen again if it goes offline next year because like I know some countries still don't allow, like Korea still doesn't allow some countries to get a visa. So yeah, it's been good, but hopefully they stay like very understanding even if some people can't come back for offline next year. I don't know if there is one. No, just kidding. It's like in the university, usually it's not very lively. We do have some festivals, like we have fall and spring music festivals. We actually had the first offline festival like a few weeks ago since COVID started. So like there were busking events. And personally for me, my social life was pretty good because I have seniors from KSA and there's like a Filipino community, and I also joined a club, the KAIST Herald, which is the newspaper, official English newspaper.
I heard.
Yeah, so it's like those groups provided me with like social groups to hang out with. Yeah, there's a lot of international students here too. So yeah, I think there's like a pretty good social scene for international students, but again, you have to seek it, like you have to look for it. There's not much like parties or like impromptu gatherings. Yeah, you have to go find your group of people.
Yeah, I heard you were in a journal club, like your freshman year already, right?
Yeah. So my 4 years, and I'm still there now. I'm a writer still.
Nice.
I was editor last year. My term finished last semester, and yeah, it's been pretty fun because it keeps me connected to the KAIST community. There's a counseling center with English speaking staff. There's also a stress clinic, which is, I heard it was unique in KAIST too. Like there was a stress clinic where there's like doctors and psychiatrists there, and I actually did go there. It's just yeah, there's a doctor there, and they can prescribe you medication if you need it, and they can diagnose you. And yeah, it's a pretty good support. And there's also like, I heard there's a counselor in the International Student Services office. They also have like an in-house counselor there who like specifically helps international students. Yeah, so there's like a lot of places for support, but it's kind of like it takes some time. So to set an appointment, you kind of need to wait 2 weeks, around 2 weeks, because there's like limited staff and a lot of students.
You know, first thing that came to my mind is like, I mean, like, I don't want anyone to have that, but you're like, oh my God, I have suicidal thoughts. And they're like, wait for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I actually like, yeah, I had that experience last semester. I was like, I finally decided, okay, I think I need help. And then when I called, it was like, oh, sorry, our earliest is 2 weeks. So it's kind of frustrating. But then there's also like a walk-in service that you can go to. Like each day there's like 3 slots, but then you have to go early to reserve the slot. Okay, first advice is grades are not everything. So
Thank you.
so in your first year especially, it's going to be kind of stressful, and I see a lot of freshmen like really stressed about their GPA. I was too, but then these days I'm kind of like, okay, it's okay, I did my best, and like I don't want to put myself in that competition anymore. So I just did what I can, and like my GPA is not like very high, but then that's because I had a lot of other activities. So I was doing research, and I was like in the newspaper and several part-time jobs. So like I accept that I couldn't like have my GPA that high, but then I'm like, okay, I had all these experiences, and I don't regret it. So I just learned to accept that, okay, grades are not everything, and like you shouldn't judge yourself by the GPA you get. It's stressful because when you apply somewhere, they look at your GPA.
Yeah.
I guess that's like the downside of it, but still, like I think pressuring yourself doesn't help either way. So I tried to let go of that pressure. Second advice, I guess, would be to take care of your mental health, because again, in a place where it's filled with pressure, that's like an important thing. And a thing I didn't do early enough that I'm only starting to learn now. And I guess that ties into the third advice, like try to take time to rest even though you're really busy. Because I realized that I like kept myself going, and then towards the end of this semester, I keep crashing. So like it's like burnout, and I'm trying to learn how to manage that like throughout the semester, like having enough rest so I don't burn out near the end. Like 2 more. I think one would be just pursue what you're interested in. And fifth one, I'm going to combine it. Fifth one is like just reach out to people for help, even professors. Because what I've been doing is like, especially for research, for example, if I find a lab I'm interested in, I just email the professor. Like they can not reply, or they can reject you, but at least you try.
True.
And I guess that goes for a lot of things too, like reaching out for help from the mental health services, reaching out for help from your seniors. That's a really important thing. I would say if you're not interested in science and engineering, you better not go to KAIST, because I know some people kind of regret it. Like they realize they want to pursue something else, and then they kind of just don't enjoy their life at KAIST. So I would say be honest with yourself. Like
Yes.
don't just apply to KAIST because it's prestigious. You have to like be interested, and I guess like look at the departments, because there's some departments that KAIST doesn't have. And if your interest is not there, I mean, even if you have a general interest in science and engineering, I think you're going to fit in well because you can explore that interest. But if you're just forcing yourself, I don't think that KAIST would be right for you. Yeah, definitely. I think it did help a lot, especially preparing for like the academic pressure. KSA did a good job. I mean, it was hard when we were there, right? Like,
yeah, it was.
it tests you a lot, but then it kind of like prepared me. The thing I said about grades not being everything, I learned that in KSA. So when I went to KAIST, it was like easier to accept. I see other people like feel really, really stressed about it. I guess the academics, especially to KAIST, is like very similar. So the transition wasn't as difficult. And I guess also socially, because we learned Korean and we're kind of used to how it is in Korea and how Koreans kind of act towards you. So yeah, that was a good preparation for college in Korea specifically. I think, okay, academically, I can't say anything about my classes, but more on research. I did like undergraduate research projects. I completed 2. They were difficult, but I think I learned a lot. And from one of my labs, I became a co-author on some papers. Like the most difficult one was a review paper where I had to read like 20, 30 papers.
Okay.
And it was just published earlier this year, so I was really happy about that. Yeah, and in another aspect, I guess becoming editor in chief of the school newspaper was I think I consider it one of my biggest achievements because it was really fun, and I think we did a good job, like the editors and the heads during my time. Yeah, it was fun, like also learning people's stories and kind of like spreading the stories and the news. Kind of we saw how it changed some policies. So yeah, so I was talking about the school newspaper. I was in that club, and I was actually accepted to the International Badminton Club along with the KAIST Herald. But the thing is, I wasn't really active in that club. So like by my second semester, I wasn't like a member anymore. But yeah, that's like one club I regret dropping because I feel like having like a sports club would actually have helped my life in KAIST, because especially these days I don't like move around as much because of COVID. Like there's not much physical activity, and yeah, I think having that like physical activity kind of releases stress. That's one thing I regret. It's like watching series on Netflix, as a lot of people do. Yeah, and I guess like that, we're like hanging out with friends, like going out to eat and go to places. That's usually what I do. Yeah, I've actually had a couple of part-time jobs. The first one I got was the KAIST Herald, the school newspaper. Actually is considered a job because we get paid for it. That was like kind of difficult to manage at first, but it was still okay because we wrote like 1 or 2 articles per month. It was difficult when I became editor because there was like a lot of responsibility. And while I was editor, I had several other things going on. So I was a teaching assistant for English classes, and I still am now actually. And there was a time I was a student assistant for an office, KAIST International House. So they teach Korean, and I was like a student assistant for 2 months. Yeah, I also became freshman international support in my second year. So there's like freshman classes. There's like 30 freshman classes, and like 5 of them are international. And there's like proctors who are like senior students. And then it's like kind of like AA classes, I would say. Like
I see.
yeah. So like there's this group that you meet like once a week, and like kind of they made it for you to make friends and you have activities together. And I became like an international support, they call it. So like just helping out the international students if they need anything. Currently I'm a writer for Herald, and I'm teaching assistant for English classes. Managing the time is kind of difficult, but I would say I just got used to it. Like I made a schedule, like for a few hours a day, I do my part-time job, and the others I study. There's actually like several opportunities for student assistants and teaching assistants, and yeah, it's been good. It's been helping with my finances.
Do you think like they cover your expenses well, or it's still not enough?
I think for me, it's enough because I did all these part-time jobs. But if you live on the stipend, it's a bit tight because they give 350,000 a month, right? And I've been getting these part-time jobs since my first year. So for me, it was enough. But for people who live on the stipend, it's a bit tight because towards the end of the month, you're like running out of money for food.
True. So you're renting a studio, right?
I'm actually in a dorm. It's like it's a one-person room dorm.
It's so cute.
Yeah. It's really nice.
So cute.
Thank you. I like living alone. So I got this room for my last semester.
At least you can rest mentally too.
Yeah, and I decorated it to be like,
I really love it.
to be calming for me.
You can do good YouTube videos with this background. So good. Is it expensive to rent one room?
Yeah, it's more expensive. It's like 292,000 per month. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of more than twice the normal like 2-person dorm. Yeah. Since it was my last semester, I was like, okay, I'll just get it.
Nice.
So right now I'm applying for graduate schools in the US, PhD program. And hopefully, like fingers crossed, hopefully I get accepted. Yeah, so those programs start in fall of 2022. And in the months in between, so I'm graduating in February. The start is August. I'm hoping to get an internship in those 6 months, and then hopefully I get accepted to the US university.
I hope you do.
Yeah, hopefully
I pray for it.
Thank you so much.
What internship though? Is it like related to chemistry or anything?
So the programs I'm applying to are either chemical biology, biochemistry, or biomedical sciences. So more application of chemistry. So right now I'm actually going to talk to a KAIST professor in the Graduate School of Medical Science Engineering next week to try and get an internship there. So we'll probably still be in Daejeon.
I wish you good luck for that. Yeah,
Thank you
best of
so
luck.
much. Yeah, so I talked about my part-time job. So apart from the fixed scholarship, right now I'm doing maybe 2 teaching assistant jobs and the school newspaper. So the salary I get from that plus my stipend has been enough for me to kind of live comfortably. So I got this room and like I can eat out once in a while. But managing my expenses, what I've been doing for the past year is I've been cooking with my senior, like meal prepping my food for the week. So that kind of saves me a lot of money in terms of food expenses. And I think I've been trying hard not to go shopping too much to manage my expenses. And yeah, it's been going good this semester. But once in a while, there's like stress shopping. If you can see all those postcards in the line, that came from like stress shopping. Yeah, I think I would. Realistically, I think I would. It's like I'm prepared for it because of KSA, and I haven't been having trouble with my finances, not like I would have if I chose to go like to the US or to Europe or undergrad. And I think the opportunities here are pretty good too. So yeah, I think realistically, I would still choose KAIST.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Thank you.
I hope you do better.
I hope you too.